So the gel that is being used is the Eco Style Professional Styling Gel Olive Oil. You know, into the story, and also, but you seen how long? How long it is, right? Yeah. This story, there are different parts of the story. Actually, this story, it involves other people, but we're going to stick to this Kevin side of the story. The the first experience of prison, and yeah, the first was in the year of 2020. Kevin was going to walk to his twin flames new apartment. You should also know that Kevin's twin lived over 30 minutes car driving distance away from Kevin. Yeah. So this was at the beginning of the separation from divine masculine with the divine feminine. You know, if you know, you know. If you're aware, you're aware. And Kevin had already experienced a tarot card reading that he had done on himself that spoke about things that were going to happen in the year of 2020. So when Kevin did that reading, he reacted to the reading, attempted to walk. He made it 15 minutes, or 15 minutes car driving distance away from where he was staying. I'm going to probably show you closer to the top of the head or the crown of the head what he's doing, how he's twisting his hair. And you know, some people have those icks about pronouns. Some people say they would rather be called she, he, they. And when Kevin thinks about those things or those pronouns from a spiritual aspect, it truly is understandable if we are honoring who we truly are, and if we get to that point of our spiritual journey where we have that awareness that we are aligning with spirit. Spirit is the spirit, and some beings would say that spirit is a she. In ascension, the divine feminine energy becomes aware prior to the masculine, but spirit being a whole energy, the divine and the divine masculine together, spirit is a single energy, and we all come from that energy. And spirit is, we can say that it is. I am, it is. So to Kevin, it's about how you feel about those things and honoring the vessel, which Kevin is in a masculine vessel. So he, him, they. If we're speaking about spirit, she. Kevin's the feminine energy. So, and this is separate from sexual orientation and things like that. If you understand, you understand. If you're aware, you're aware. And now back to the story, because yeah, that kind of got off. But if you're following along, you understand. Also, I have the ring light like changing different colors. So if you're wondering what is up with the different colors, then yeah, it's going through the colors. And yeah, when Kevin was attempting to walk that far, you know, first let's talk about how the divine feminine will at the beginning it is difficult to understand the need for separation when it happens. But there is a need for it so that you can understand who you're becoming. But when Kevin walked, he made it 15 minutes walking the car distance, yeah? And when he stopped to rest at a bench in the town that he stopped in, the bench, you see how that is thin? Okay, back on topic. The cops were driving by, but Kevin wasn't sitting on that bench at the time, and then Kevin didn't see a sign that said no trespassing or anything like that. So he sat down on the bench. After he got done sitting at the gazebo, he sat down on the bench, and the cops came over and started asking him questions. Kevin didn't have a license at that time in 2021. No, the year 2020. And we have to speak about the time prior to that of how he didn't have his license in 2020. When Kevin was staying at the other house that is on this property, there's another house that is also the family's house where Kevin was staying prior to being here at this house, where Kevin was reading tarot, and there was a message in the tarot that Kevin didn't feel comfortable with sharing with the rest of the family. So Kevin, in some ways, took a vow of silence and stopped speaking to members of the family. And he was truly becoming aware of his knowing of who he was becoming. And it was annoying for some family members. It was difficult for some family members to comprehend because it was Kevin's journey, right? And so when after some months of holding that message and becoming a plant-based eater, when Kevin growing up was a meat consumer, the family members decided to contact EMS EMS came, and at that time, they came and evaluated, and Kevin was aware of what was going on. They asked his name, they asked where his age, where he was, did he know where he was. He simply showed them his ID. He did not have to do that. And big burp of relief. When they took Kevin to the hospital, this again is from the year of 2020. They then saw that nothing was wrong. They attempted to show him medication. Again, Kevin didn't need medication. They released him. He was shown a dad's birthday was on the timestamp. Twin Flame's birthday was on the timestamp. All right, back to the story. Kevin was receiving a message to leave his phone where it was. And when Mom went to go look for the phone after she had, they had took the wheelchair. Oh, so here's the other thing. When EMS was called and they came to the house, the cops were also there. They didn't take Kevin to the to prison then. When he was at the hospital, he didn't want to leave because he realized things about his family that he wasn't wanting to speak about. Those things were happening at that time. And then those family members called to check up and tried to make it seem as if things were wrong, that when things weren't wrong. It was just, there was information from the divine that Kevin couldn't share with the rest of the family. And because Kevin didn't want to leave the hospital, he was like pretty much refusing to go. And they were saying that he was going to go to jail. And after that experience of the hospital, when Kevin was leaving, his mom asked where the phone was. It was the red phone. And speaking of that, Twin Flame now has a red phone. Isn't that funny? They couldn't find the phone, and the phone was, which should have been right there in the bed. Kevin's guess or thought is that maybe the cleaning person came like soon after Kevin was gone and took the phone and jumbled it up in the bedding for the hospital bed. And if you're wondering why Kevin speaks about himself as Kevin as if he isn't the person that's speaking, it's a spiritual thing for me, for my awareness of the story and how I'm telling it. Yeah. So when went home and attempted to contact those friends from the past, and it was spoken to a friend that was on a similar journey about the tarot reading that was done. Yeah. And so that friend knew, that friend kept in contact, but that friend was getting false information from family members that he had contact with. But anyway, back to the prison story of how it started when Kevin attempted to see his twin walking, and his twin didn't know. So we can say my bad, you know, or my good, my bad, you know, whatever people want to say. But anyway, he attempted to walk, made it those 15 minutes. Then the cops came and some things happened. Spirit allowed him to know that he was there in that experience. And this is an important message to any feminine who is experiencing anything similar, or any being who is experiencing anything similar to that. Non-reaction is the best reaction in many situations when dealing with beings who aren't as conscious, who may not understand your path and may have it out for you, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so the cops came, the cops said some things, and it was like, of course I didn't have my license, and for the reason that the phone that was had, that the red phone had a wallet. And in another video, you can actually see the picture of like the wallet case that was had, and the phone and the ID were in that old red, with that red phone. And that ID was like, it would have expired this year, the identification card. So yeah. Anyway, they took Kevin to prison that year of 2020, to the prison. Kevin wasn't speaking to anybody, and since they wanted to take Kevin to jail, Kevin didn't even get in the car. So they put Kevin in the car. And for 21 days, Kevin didn't eat in prison in 2021 for the reason that they were giving meat food, and Kevin was vegan at that time, or he was becoming a vegan. And that at that moment, the only number that Kevin really remembered was his twin's number. He was really dedicated to the twin flame journey. And although his twin was we're not even going to speak about the twin that much. We're going to keep the journey about, you know, the reasons of why Kevin was in prison. So after that happened, for those 21 days, and then there was this man that was upset because Kevin wasn't speaking, but Kevin wasn't speaking to a lot of individuals, and family members were trying to comprehend why was Kevin not speaking, and it was upsetting to many people. And the reading that Kevin did on himself, it came to fruition earlier this year. What Kevin was attempting to, or was understanding about the reading. There was an experience with a family member that was going to happen, that happened in the beginning of 2023. Or it was told that it happened in 2022. So it may have happened in 2022 or happened in 2023. Either way, the reading that Kevin did on himself was correct. And that's another thing. If you're on this journey as a psychic medium, having that awareness of who you are, honor that, and it will reveal the path that you are meant to take. And a lot of beings who are who have this path may be around beings who don't want them to honor who they truly are. Honor it, be that. And for some time, Kevin was afraid to own that he is a psychic medium. I am a psychic medium. And tarot cards, to some people, they see it as evil, like, ooh, like evil. When indeed tarot cards are a tool so that you are able to visually see it. Although if you are a medium, the information comes directly from source for you to understand the message to be delivered. So although those beings may not want for that experience to happen with those cards, that ability to directly receive a message and give a message is forever a part of your experience. It's forever an ability, it's forever a gift for you to use, for you to receive, for you to honor, things of that nature. Yeah? So, this is probably going to be in multiple parts. What I can say is that, when I say multiple parts, I mean for the video, after that prison experience, it was definitely like with family, it was kind of like, oh, the family feels that way. But from their level of love consciousness, from their level of love, they experienced it as something is wrong, or they were thinking, their thought process was something is wrong because he has shifted out of that 3D consciousness, and they didn't have that awareness because they were in a lower state of consciousness, and Kevin was ascending to a higher level of consciousness. And for some family members, that isn't always understandable. So after that experience, Kevin, we can talk about how Kevin was released. They asked if he had somebody to call. He only remembered his twin flame's number, and we can't speak about the twin flame for this reason. He called, he gave them his number, and he spoke for the first time, and they released him. His mom was telling him that nothing was wrong with him, and the hospital said that nothing was wrong with him. And Kevin was wondering, why was he in prison? Why did he get sent to the hospital in that year for the reason that nothing was wrong? It appeared to the family members that something was happening because Kevin was ascending into a higher level of consciousness and understanding. So, they called the twin. Twin said that he was going to call a person. He called best friend at that time. And when Kevin was released, he then was at his best friend's house that he hasn't spoken to in some time. So after that, that was in 2020. In 2021, there was another experience of prison when a family member told Kevin that he could use their vehicle. And this was also spoken in just the video that's before this one. There was a video that Kevin did, and he spoke about The relative said that if Kevin went to go try to see his twin flame again. So this is a really good lesson to you divine feminists. If you're on your journey to becoming in alignment, stay on your journey. Allow them to be where they are in their journey, okay? So you can be flourishing and not having to experience any type of things like that because of them trying to see them. Are they trying to see you? But anyway, Kevin drove the vehicle that he had permission to drive if he had his license. And when he came back from seeing his twin, and this is after Kevin had this phone that we're recording on, and he went to see his twin. The conversation went well. Kevin was again also trying to move. He was trying to move, with his twin, but his twin was also in a relationship. So it didn't allow his twin to, if your twin is with another partner, allow them to be with that partner. And I'm hearing that there's probably going to be time to finish up this video. Is getting lengthy, and so that it can be like a part 1 then a part 2, and we can start at I will end this right before the second Joe experience. When Kevin saw his twin, he after he saw them, after he had driven a vehicle, he drove back to this house, and the owner of the vehicle had called the cops, and there was a family member there for a different reason than calling the cops. And so when they called the cops, the cop that arrived was a friend from school that had graduated with Kevin in 2011, and they asked Kevin what was wrong. Kevin was kind of confused because the family member told Kevin that he could drive the car if he had his license, but he didn't ask them if he could drive the car. So the car was, to them, from their perspective, it was taken. So they should have been asked. And it has been talked about to that family member. We're taking ownership of that. And so Kevin left off all of his things on the front lawn. He was going to figure out how he was going to get that, making it harder than it was meant to be. Anyway, he left those things, and they returned the things back to the house. He was walking. Another family member that was on their way to the house saw Kevin walking, and Kevin didn't respond to them because he was upset about the cops being called. That family member got upset and pulled Kevin's hair at the back and was trying to get him to verbalize why he had drove the car without asking. And when that happened, Kevin was like, but he didn't express that. He just said, maybe we can speak when you have calmed down. Because it wasn't their vehicle. It was the other family member's vehicle. But the family member that the car was driven from was older. They were up in age. They were older. So I guess with that other family member, they felt as if they were taking up for that older family member, or being of a shield for the older family member. After that experience, there was just this feeling of who would then help Kevin. You know how it. Kevin was he was aware of stillness, but he truly wasn't aware of the experience that was happening. Oh, can you hear the sirens? We're in alignment, girl, and I seen 44 on the timer. Anyway, we're gonna be stepping into the next story, and like I said, this video is getting lengthy, so this would be the part 1 of the video. After that experience, the family members had a conversation. The family member that pulled the hair after that experience, and the family member that had given permission to drive the vehicle. The family member that had given permission to drive the vehicle had talked to the other family member. The family member said that if this parental figure was saying that you were able to drive their vehicle. And this is where we're going to start the next video.